today's tutorial, we're going to be looking at a very basic project, a password generator that we built in a previous tutorial using the Python programming language. If you missed that tutorial, there's a link right above there. You can easily just click on to watch that video before coming over to this one. And we're going to be building today's tutorial using the Django Framework. So without wasting much time, let's get started. Welcome to Seed Media. First thing we need to do is set up a virtual environment. By default, Python comes with a virtual environment called virtual env that we'll be making use of in this tutorial. The advantages of making use of the virtual env is the sense that we get to keep all our project settings or changes within an enclosed space, and it doesn't affect the global or the general space of the computer or the machine that you'll be working with. For example, we go over here and move straight to our desktop. If you go over list, we have another folder called desktop. So to get started with the virtual environment, all we have to do is virtual env, and we give the virtual environment a name. I'll be calling this password env. We'll give it time for the virtual environment to create, and we move into virtual environment. Pass env. Okay, we can activate our virtual environment by saying source/activate. But before we do that, let's see the files that are within the virtual environment. We say we have the bin, the lib, and the python env.config file. So what we need to do now to activate our virtual environment, we're going to say source/bin/activate. And it activates our virtual environment. And we can know that the virtual environment is activated by the name of the virtual environment in between two brackets. And if we were to say pip freeze, it shows us that we have nothing installed in the virtual environment. The virtual environment now looks like a completely blank box. But if we were to exit from our virtual environment using deactivate, and we say pip freeze, you're going to see my default Django installation on my computer. You can see all the Python related files we have. Let's clear that and go back into our virtual environment. To get started with Django, since when we ran pip freeze, we didn't see any installation or any Python file within the virtual environment. We need to install Django into the virtual environment. For that, we're going to say pip install Django, and we let it finish its installation. And we can also come over here to our Visual Studio Code and open the virtual environment where we're going to have all our files and installations done. We head over back to, okay, it still has Django installing. And now you can see the virtual environment, the initial folders with the activate file that we call to activate the virtual environment. We won't be making use of that for any other thing right now, just so that you can have a picture of what is within. I'll head over back to environment and to install our new application. We say Django-admin start project, and you give it a, let's call it password, the name of the project. And we have the project within our virtual environment. But you will notice something. The project name and the parent folder are given the same name. So what I like to do is to rename the parent folder to src source, so you can easily tell the difference between the project folder and the parent folder. So the next thing we need to do now is we can migrate into our source folder, and we say to get the project up and running, we say python manage.py run server, and what it does is that it comes within the manage.py file that we have in here. So actually directly above the project folder, it runs our Python server and giving us this address. If we go to this address now where the virtual server is hosted, you can see our beautiful Django app has been created. To get started with this project, we need to change the default page of our Django app. And to do that, first thing we need to do within the source folder, we're going to create another folder called templates. And this is going to be responsible for all our template files. And in the project folder, we go over to settings and look for template. So it's over here. You look for templates. And in this directory, you type the name templates. This automatically tells Django that you want it looking for all template related files within this folder. And we're going to have two files within this folder. One is going to be index.html, and the second one is going to be generate.html. Now, the index.html is going to have our home page. Let's give it a default. I say welcome to the home page. We save that. If you go and refresh, the page is going to still be the same because you've not told Django that you want to change the default homepage of this web page. Okay, so we head over back to the project folder, which is the folder with the name password, and we head over straight to the urls.py file. And the first thing we need to do in the urls.py file is that we need to tell Django that we are trying to define a new default homepage. And to do that, we simply say path empty file, then we say use.homepage. I'll give it a name, call it homepage. And before this can work, we need to import from import views. So what this is telling us basically is that from the view within this directory, we should head over to the views folder and import all the functions or class names, all the functions that are within that view folder. I will head over back to the project folder, create a new file called views.py. Views, not view, views.py, don't forget the S. I will say from Django the shortcut import render I will create the function called homepage. I'll give a request and say return render request index.html. We save that. If we head over back to our Django page and refresh, that's not showing. Why? But the same module password.view has no attribute called homepage. So let's see what the problem views.homepage. There's a space in front of the views that was causing that problem. So let's refresh that and see. And you can see we're having the welcome back, welcome to the homepage file. So this is not a HTML tutorial, so I'll simply just go ahead and paste the HTML files for both of these, and I'll pause the video now and get back to you when I'm done. I pasted the HTML for both pages, the index.html and generate.html. And the HTML is quite straightforward. If you're having any difficulty trying to figure out what this is about, you might need to check out one of my basic HTML courses or the online HTML tutorial I did. I'll leave both links above, so you can simply just click on it and go through it. So we have a basic form with 3 select input, password, length, alphabet, numbers, and special character. And if we go back to our homepage and refresh the homepage, we'll see that we have this. It says you can select the password, length, the alphabet, if you want alphabets and numbers. I think we should take out the alphabet. It's not going to be that useful because regardless of what you select, the password is going to have alphabets in both uppercase and lowercase characters. So we can just leave it there for a reference purposes in case you want to make changes to this file and make it suit your own need. And special characters as well. You click on change password and it takes you directly to the generator.html password page, and it uses a get function to get the password length and numerical value variables over to the next page. And it's telling us that request URL of this is not found because we haven't created the URL that leads us to the generator.html page. So let's get back to our home page and get started with creating the URL. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is head back over to our project folder, and within the project folder we head over to URL, and we're going to import include, and from include we're going to say path. I'll say generator will be include, say generator.urls. Now what this basically says is that anytime we visit, put a comma here, anytime we visit the URL that has a generator, I didn't spell this well, include. Anytime we visit the URL that has a generator attached to it, it should go over to an app that we're going to be creating called generator and import the urls.py file from that app. So to get started, we simply navigate, ensure that we are within our source folder, Django-admin start app, and we'll say let's call this generator. And now within the source folder we have an app called generator, and the app will also have the views, but it doesn't have url.py file. So we'll head over to the generator app and create a new file called urls.py, and we can simply just come over here and copy what we have here. It's practically the same, so we don't have to keep typing. Now urls.py, we save that. I won't be needing this. Yeah, so we can just save that. We'll be needing this. And now in the url.py file, we can make use of this as well, but let's just give it its own custom page, and we'll call this generator and give it a name called generator. Yeah. So in the views.py, we're going to create another views called def.generator requests, and yeah, and let's say return render. Let's call this request. I'll say generator.html. Yeah. So all this basically does, when it goes to the home page of our url.py, which is this, I will be needing this here, is what this is saying, when it goes to the home page of our generator app, which is this part here, it looks for the view called generator and simply renders it back to the screen. Now we can reference this view using the name generator. That's basically what this part of the code is saying. So we have generator here, generator.py.html. Yeah, should be in brackets. So I think we are good to go. We're good to go. So let's try this out and see if it works. We're getting error. What's the error? It says no module names generator. Let's see what we got. Okay, it should be generate. Yeah, should be generate.html. Let's stop our server. Clear it up, run again. The error is from our index.html page. So we can simply just replace this with the URL name. Let's say URL, we'll call it generate. Right, that was the name, right? That was the name we gave it. That was the name we gave it. We can check under generator URL, generator, okay. Yeah. refresh and click. Yeah, I say new password goes here. So that's basically it here. So we simply just replace the URL with using the bracket, percentage sign, the keyword URL, then the name of the URL. So now we got our new password showing up here. So we don't need to do now is visit up the view for generating the URL page that calculates the password and moves it over to the next page. So we make our final two imports for this tutorial. So we make our final two imports for this tutorial is going to be string and random. Save that. And the generator view, the view generator, we're going to have a first variable called password length. And this is going to be equal to, it's going to be an int. And we're going to say request.get password length. We're going to give it the default value of 8, meaning that if the user doesn't select the password length, it gets the default value of 8. And we're going to say special character is equal to, and let's just go ahead and copy the special character and the special numbers from our previous tutorial on our GitHub page. And I'll be leaving the link to this GitHub page for those that want to clone any of our past codes or watch or just go through any of our past tutorials and see how it goes. So we'll just copy the special characters and the alphabet lower and uppercase over here. We just paste that in. Proper indentation. Okay, so we're good to go. So basically what we have here is a group of a list of special characters and a list of special numbers that's from 0 to 9. And for the upper alphabet and lower alphabet, we simply use the string module that we imported. When it comes to a special function called ASCII.uppercase and ASCII.lowercase that generates uppercase and lowercase characters from A to Z. And under that, we can get started with our code, and we're going to create another password list, called an empty list for the holding of the password. Save that. I'm going to say for underscore in range password length. So that's depending on how many the password length you select. If it's going to be 8 or 6, it's going to run the for loop 6 times. So we're going to say password list plus equal to random alphabet lower. I'm also going to random alphabet upper. So this line of code, what it does is that it adds selects randomly from the alphabet in upper and lower case and adds it to the empty password list. So we'll go ahead and say if request.get number is equal to yes. You can say password list random.choice with special numbers. I will go ahead and duplicate this proper indentation. This is going to be equal to special is equals to special random.choice of special character. So basically these variables you're seeing here, we're getting these variables from the URL we initially got over here. You can see we have a password length, alphabet, numeric, and special. I'm not making use of the alphabet because I stated earlier on that regardless of if an alphabet is selected or not, the password is going to comprise of both upper and lowercase characters from the alphabet. So we have the special and we have the numeric. Should be numeric, not numbers. So you see, here should be numeric. Yeah. So we then pick up our new password and say, and it's going to be outside of the for loop. We're going to say new password equals to, I want to convert the list to a string now. So join random dot, we want to pick out the values of the list. So when the password list has been generated, we want to randomly pick out its value or randomly rearrange its value and convert it to a string. So say sample password length. Yeah. Okay, we now return dot render, then pass the new password as a variable to the next page. I'm going to say give it a key which is new password and give it new password. So let's run it and see if we get any error. I don't think we would. Okay, so let's go back, refresh, generate. They say module object is not callable. Okay, should have been called the object directly random.choice. Random.choice. Yeah, so that's random.choice. That should do the trick. Refresh. Okay, so we've not passed the variable to the new page. I will go under the generator.py and we'll replace this with the variable called new password. Refresh. Yeah, refresh. We got that. So you see, that's because the password length is 6. So if we were to go back now and select a password length of 10 to generate, it generates 10 password. Let's just go back and do later. Let's put our password in here and see what we get. So I'll close this. Let's move this in here. Test it. Now 23,000 years to crack. And you can see that it's practically making use of almost all the characters we selected. We have the special characters, uppercase and lowercase. We have number. And if we put this in here and test it, see 857 billion years to crack. So thank you for watching this tutorial. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. There'll be more Python tutorials coming up, more data science related tutorials, more if I have the time, I might look into PHP and do a little bit of more PHP Laravel tutorials. And hit the subscribe button, share with your friend, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.